Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I'm the board game teacher. Welcome to my game room. Today, I'm responding to a request that was made last week by one of the viewers, Ivana Tom, about seeing some more about board games, cooperative board games, and how they're a great introductory point for families and people to get into the gaming hobby. So thanks very much for that suggestion. As I say, always love to hear from the viewers. So in looking at this, really kind of got me thinking about the whole way that our whole society really kind of is in conflict with itself. It's what's the word? It's a oxymoron. What's the word? It's a contradiction. I was thinking about how the whole society is in contradiction with itself because, on one hand, it wants us to be the best. You have to be the best to get the job, to get the trophy, to get whatever it is that you want in life. You have to be the best. Which means if you have to step on other people, which means if you have to put other people down, if you have to climb on the backs of others to reach your goal, then the end justifies the means, as it were. But when you work in an environment where you are on a team of individuals in a job situation, for example, or in a school, then suddenly now we have to all learn to work together. So there's this whole contradiction between the two ideals of being the best, yet having to rein in that ego and realize maybe I'm not the best and maybe I do need the help of other people. And even when you are better than others, then you have to consider too that when we work together as a team, often we can achieve far more than we could have achieved on our own. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Learning to cooperate is so fundamental and so important for us as individuals within a society that we do need to learn to cooperate. And what better way to learn anything in this world but through board games. In a cooperative game, the whole fun of the game comes through the interaction with the other players, the story that is being set, the stories that are made through the playing of the game, the challenges, the tension of whether the game is going to beat you or whether you're going to beat the game. Rather than being the winner and the only winner, being a part of the experience is what really makes a cooperative game great. And for families and for people who really can't stand losing or have a person in their group who really can't stand losing, then cooperative games are a fantastic solution because in this game, if you lose, you all lose together. There's not going to be a single winner in the game. There's going to be the group winning or nobody wins. The group winning or nobody wins. So when we play a cooperative game, what's so great about it is that we are learning skills that we can then apply to our real lives. We learn skills like listening, sharing, negotiating, and these things then translate into building and developing positive social relationships where other people feel like their ideas are being listened to and respected, and then in turn they listen to you. It's the whole Covey idea of seek first to understand, then to be understood too, where you need to listen to other people's ideas and share and collaborate with how are you all going to work together to solve this puzzle, which is the cooperative game. Now, like the topic of critical thinking, the whole research into the topic of cooperative games has really led me to just understand that there's a huge amount of things I could be talking about here in educational settings and how they apply to education and what kinds of things we can be learning from them. So this is definitely something I'm going to be doing in the not the near future, but I mean it's going to be doing throughout the future as an ongoing kind of segment of things I continue to keep looking back on, like the critical thinking about how we can apply this and how it applies to education and the applications in the schools, in the classroom, in the workplace, in the home, everything that we can be doing as educators and people who want to help to develop people through cooperative games is something I will be looking at in the future. I mean, there's just too much for me to look at in one day in one episode. It would be too long. So I'm definitely going to be segmenting that into smaller pieces. And what I want to look at today, though, is some of the games in my collection and talk a little bit about them and how they might apply to your situation on who you want to play with and what kinds of games you might like to introduce them to. So the first one is one of the ones I've mentioned before, which is Pandemic. Awesome game. You're working to save the world as being overrun by these 4 viruses.
Awesome game.
The other one, which I'd also showed last day, was Forbidden Desert, which is, again, by the designer Matt Leacock, who did Pandemic. In Forbidden Desert, you crashed into the desert and you're trying to find pieces to this ship. And there's also Forbidden Island, which I don't own, but it's also in the metal tin, and it's part of this Forbidden series by Matt Leacock, Cooperative game. Forbidden Island would be one I would recommend for the younger kids, and then Forbidden Desert, and then Pandemic if you're looking at things for range of ages. And then another one I've got, which is looking at saving humanity, is Flashpoint Fire Rescue. In this game, every player takes control of a firefighter. Firefighters have different roles. Each role has different abilities, which they do better. You have to get in the building, put out the fires, rescue the people before the building collapses. It's a really tense but fun game. Really kind of gives that strong sense of getting in there and trying to rescue people from a burning building. It's quite exciting. Really great game. The next one I have here is a super tense game. It's Escape the Curse of the Temple, and this one is a lot of fun, but it's like I said, really tense because every game is exactly 10 minutes long, and I mean exactly 10 minutes long because you're on a timer, and you're all rolling dice at the same time, and you're trying to escape from the temple. You need certain combinations of dice to move to certain spots to get certain crystals, and you have to eventually escape before the timer runs out. If the timer runs out and anybody's left in the temple, then everybody loses. It's all or nothing. Everybody escapes or everybody loses. And another one, which I know I'm looking forward to play with Timothy as he gets older. He's a huge Ghostbusters fan. I know the Dice Tower did a review on this one and they really hated it, but I don't know what they're talking about. I think this game is fantastic. Overall, fun game. Really captures the feeling of the old TV show, The Real Ghostbusters, the cartoon one that was out 80s, 90s, on there. So, but yeah, awesome game. For those of you who are the Star Trek fans, this one is like simulating a funny kind of Star Trek thing where you're space cadets and you are, each of you has a different role on the ship, and you're trying to accomplish your role in order to power the shields, to power the weapons, to power the navigation, to power just everything. And so each person has a different role on the ship. Different things happen, and it's a lot of fun, this game, that simulate the crew of like a Star Trek ship. And so we also have Zombicide. Zombies are like a fan favorite these days in different games and movies and all kinds of different, why not in board games as well. So certainly a lot of zombie games out there. Not all of them are friendly though, not all of them are co-op. Zombicide is one of those co-op games. Players working together to defeat hordes and hordes of zombies. Zombicide has now even come out in a medieval version. This one's sort of modern day, but there's also a medieval version called Zombicide Black Plague, which I don't own, but want to include Zombicide as well. Alright, Super Dungeon Explorer is one I'd mentioned last time as well. In Super Dungeon Explorer, you, as I said, have an arcade mode. In an arcade mode, you can play cooperatively. Everybody plays together on the same team. So, this one, like I said, bit of an investment to get into this one, but it's also great if you're going to be painting it, which is something I'm going to be looking at in the near future too. But in Super Dungeon Explorer, you are fighting different monsters, trying to stop the spawn points they're coming out of, and eventually get to the end and fight the final dungeon boss to win the game. It can be played cooperatively, but it also can be played semi-cooperatively, or in what's also known as all versus one. And this can be sort of a, it's competitive, but at least in this way, if you're introducing younger kids, then you can have one adult playing with children and the other adult playing on the side of the bad guys, the villains, the dungeon boss. So if you want to play the competitive mode, the classic mode as it's called in the game, in classic mode then you would have one person taking control of the villains, and then all the other players take control of the heroes. And in that way, then you can have still cooperative feeling. You can still have people working together, but they're all together against one player. So some players don't like co-ops, so this can sometimes be the what's the word? Mediation point, the collaboration, the give and take here, so that you play a cooperative game, but one person's going to be the one who's against the others. On that same note, then, we have one which I did a special playthrough, or not playthrough, but a rules video for, which is Guardians Chronicles. Another one where people take control of a group of superheroes known as the Liberty Patrol. Actually, there's not only the Liberty Patrol, we also have Night Squad. And Night Squad is actually a group of Canadian superheroes, so that's pretty awesome. So you have Night Squad with a Liberty Force, so you have different heroes you can play against Dr. Scarov, and there are some other villains which come out now in the True King of Atlantis. So there's more options now. Dr. Scarov tends to be the main bad guy though. But so all versus one again, so cooperatively working as a superhero team to take down the one person who's playing the bad guys, the villain. And then last is a game which I wanted to include on this list. It's not a co-op, but it's also a game I don't see the point of playing competitively. So this is an option I thought was something that was kind of unique in its own kind of genre, in that whenever I play Telestrations, I don't care who wins or loses, and it's not even a consideration of like who's getting more points or whatever. It's just a game, think of Broken Telephone. So everybody's participating, everybody's involved all the time because you have one pad for everybody. And so everybody's all doing this. It's a great party game, it's so much fun, and it always just leads to so much laughter and hilarity, and it's just, but at the end it's like, how do you even score? Who cares? It's just fun, it's funny, and it's the kind of game which, you know, everybody has a good time playing, and that's fun too. So just is, you know, if the whole idea of the competition is what's turning you off from board gaming, and you want something that's going to avoid the table flipping, the rage-inducing losing of a game, and stomping of feet and tantrums, then something like this is great because there's no winners, there's no losers, there's just a lot of fun to be had. So depending on whether you're looking for something to do as, cooperatively working together, or just playing something just because it's fun, you've got a lot of options here. So that wraps it up for today. Thank you very much again, Ivana Tom, for the suggestion on looking at co-op games. It's really sort of opened up a whole new thing for me to be exploring in the future. Like I said, like with the critical thinking, and now with co-op games, just the wide wealth of information of things that's out there, things that I'm really going to be digging into and delving and exploring in terms of co-op games in their applications in education and in the classroom. Just so much. So I'm going to be looking at that over the course of the future, foreseeable future. So thanks again. And other viewers, if you have any other suggestions of things you might like to see, any comments or ideas for videos, please let me know. Always love to hear from the viewers. But until next week, I'm Craig Thompson-Wood, the board game teacher, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Coming back to school.